take any deeper now. I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys coming and watching. We're just now getting ready to start the day. We'll start the night, in my case. And we're gonna head on over to Harrisburg. Didn't really get much sleep. Kind of hard to sleep when you sleep till like 5:30 in the morning. I totally overslept my alarm this morning. I meant to get up at like 2:30 Central Time. I ended up not getting up until 4:30 Central Time, so 5:30 my time. Yeah, I needed to sleep though real bad, and I I must have been like so thirsty for some good sleep that, you know, just that solid sleep that I got. I'm still feeling good. I'm still feeling pretty good. So we'll just get on going and go pick up the load. Yeah, just sitting here in the truck, letting the fluids warm up. I didn't have the APU running. Keep wanting to call the APU a generator, but the APU is not a generator. Didn't have the APU running because I knew I wouldn't be like, I didn't even have it on tender mode or whatever the mode is that charges the batteries, because I knew I wouldn't be gone for more than, you know, so long. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get this show on the road, shall we? So what do you guys think of my steering wheel? You guys haven't said anything about it for a while. Huh? What do you think of this little guy? See, I like to watch this coolant gauge, and of course the oil temperature. And it is, see, look, it says 132. And there's no way that's considered 132. So it just really goes to show how much more accurate I would imagine this is, since it reads it right off of the ECM. Same with the oil temperature. Yeah, 100, not even. So it's nice having this on here, because these gauges, I would trust what this says a lot more than what any of these gauges would say, because it's right off the ECM. It doesn't have the lost in transition, so to speak, lag that you get with the gauges. Not to mention these are old gauges. Pretty nice trailer here. We got wheels back here look like they're darn near brand new. It's like they just put these wheels on. There's not a speck of rust on them anywhere. Nice, very nice. All right, we got our load. And yeah, see, that's not a bad looking trailer, eh, Kirk? Trailer's pretty decent looking. It's in decent shape. Tires are good. Everything's good. Everything is hunky-dory. Alright. Like I said, those wheels really do look like they're brand new on both sides. go somewhere like that, get extra pay to go down there. So I got no complaints. I got to make sure that the trailer's washed out, or at least clean. This place, when you the place that I'll be picking the trailer up at, they put some kind of a white powder in the trailers. I don't know if they intentionally put white powder in there, or if it's just kind of part of the process. But I got to make sure that's cleaned out of there. Well, you know what? Shucks. Oh, I left my leaf blower in the Jeep. I just thought about that. I took the leaf blower out to make room under the bunk while they did the APU install, and I forgot to grab that. So that's no bueno. I don't have that to use, but that's all right. If I need to, I'll go through Blue Beacon or something to get it washed out. So we'll be all right. We'll be all right. So what would you guys have done in this scenario? This is a long time ago this happened. I don't know why I like recently thought about it. I was going to talk about it when it happened, but I was just kind of like, whatever, you know. So anyway, not too long after I bought this truck, I was backing into a spot at a Pilot truck stop, right? I was, you know, the Dollar General or Family Dollar, I think it's a Family Dollar, in Marion, Indiana. And then they have that Pilot, I believe, Pilot or Flying J. Maybe it's a Flying J, one or the other. They've got those, or they've got that truck stop right there, like adjacent to the Family Dollar, right? So, if anybody's familiar with that truck stop, it's pretty tight parking, especially if you're backing into a spot in the back that's across from the Jersey barriers, right? So anyway, I decided to back in there one night. All I was doing was going inside to get some coffee. And I had just delivered at the Family Dollar. So I found a spot there and, you know, backed into it. And you know, this truck, it's a longer truck. 270-inch wheelbase, longer hood than your typical truck, like a Freightliner Cascadia or whatever. You know, it's just a longer truck, you know, in general. I was backing into the spot and I got backed up there just fine. I noticed that the truck behind me that I was backing back to, you know, that was in the spot behind me, I noticed he had the his trailer hanging pretty far over the line into my spot, right? So it was I'd say a good 7 feet over into my spot. 6 feet, something like that, over into my spot. Alright guys, this is future me. I'm just sitting back here editing the video here, and I wanted to insert this because I was thinking about this while I was editing it. I'm like, wait a second, I probably still have a couple of pictures that I took of this guy's trailer and how far it was overhanging into my spot, and why it would have been easy to accidentally slightly bump into him if I did. Again, I don't know for sure even if I did. You can see in the picture, mine's the Compass trailer, and then his is the one that's not a Compass trailer. You can see there's no marks, nothing. It doesn't look like, and to be honest, like where they are, you know, is about where I stopped anyway. You know, I think I may have like pulled up like maybe an inch or two after I, you know, backed up as far as I thought that I could. But you can see there's like 4 feet between my trailer and his. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to show you the overhang there that he was how much he was overhanging into my spot, and he wanted to say that didn't matter. You know, it didn't matter that he was taking up half my spot. Also, too, this video, I'm going to put this on YouTube, but this was like, I don't know, I made this video probably, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. It's a little bit, or a week ago, something like that. So things have already happened, you know, things have already, it's just old. It's old. But anyways, I just wanted to go ahead and insert this into here and then put the picture of the trailer and show you what I was talking about how far the trailer was hanging over into my spot. But now that I've said that 5 times, carry on with the original programming. Well, you know, again, like I said, my truck is real long, right? So I don't want my truck to be, to have the nose of my truck sticking out further than everybody else in that row, because then it's just a magnet to get the hood ripped off. You know, for even if I'm only there for a few minutes going in to get the coffee, I can come back out, the hood's gone, and the guy next to me is gone too. You know, so I didn't want to do that. So I backed up as far as I could. And when I do that, when it's dark out, I kind of ride the brake pedal so I can use my brake lights to illuminate the area behind me, so I can get as close to the trailer that I'm backing up against as I can without hitting it. So that's what I did. I rode the brake a little bit as I was backing up, just enough to light up the brake lights to, you know, like I said, make that area a little bit more brighter. And then I, you know, got as close to him as I could, and then I parked it. I pulled forward about a foot, maybe. You know, I got pretty close to him. And I was still, like, I went back and checked, and I got, like, I don't know, I was pretty darn close. But because of how far he was backed over into my spot, the front of my truck was still sticking out into the lane of travel. So that was kind of a bang, but it is what it was, you know. So I go ahead and I'm walking past his truck to go inside and grab my coffee, and I walked past his truck, and then I walked towards, then I walked by another row of trucks across the scale, and by the time I get across the scale, I am about to the fuel islands, and I hear somebody yelling, and I'm like, I don't know, you know, I didn't even think anything of it, and then I hear somebody yelling again, and I just kind of nonchalantly turned around, and it was the guy I had parked behind. But he was in his truck still, so, you know, I didn't know what he was yelling about or who he was yelling to. I didn't even worry about it, you know. And I figured if he was yelling at me for some reason, I walked right by his truck and he didn't say anything to me. So yeah, it is what it was, you know. So I went inside, got my coffee, and I'm walking back out. As I'm walking back past his truck, he's in his driver's seat, and he opens his door and kind of comes out, kind of a hurry. And he goes, "Hey, man," and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know. Sometimes when that happens, I think to myself, "What is this? Somebody that knows the channel or recognizes me from the channel? Maybe they're going to say hi." Or whatever, you know, but that was not the case. He starts yelling at me, telling me that I backed into his truck, and I'm like, I don't think I did, man. I'm like, I don't know really what you're talking about. And then he starts calling me a liar and saying I'm, you know, bull crap and bull whatever, saying I was full of it, and that I backed into his truck, and like his truck rocked so hard that it knocked him out of his bed or something like that. And I'm like, if I did make contact with his truck, I'm like, it was so light mean, that seems a little, seems like you're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Turning it into kind of being a little hyperbolic. That's the word I'm looking for. You're being a little hyperbolic about this situation. And he didn't like that very much. He didn't like me saying anything like that, but then he gets madder. And he's like, well, why didn't you answer me when I was yelling at you? And I'm like, because I was halfway across the damn truck stop and I didn't know you were yelling at me. I'm like, I walked right by your truck and you had every opportunity to say something to me when I was right beside your truck, and you waited till I was halfway across the parking lot. So I just assumed it wasn't about me. I didn't have any idea. And again, he calls me a liar. He's like, oh, you just don't want to take responsibility for what you did, blah, blah, blah. And, by this time, I'm starting to really lose my patience with the guy. So I tell him, I'm like, look, how about we go back here and look at the trailer? I'm like, if there's damage, I'm like, and I did say this to him too. I'm like, you do realize, and I'm not excusing backing into somebody, but the way that I would have if I did back into him, if the way that it would have been is I would have backed into him in the exact same manner that one of us would have backed into a dock. These trailers are designed to back into and make contact with a building. And he's throwing a big old hissy fit because I backed into him with less force than he would have backed into a dock. So I tell him, I'm like, look, if you don't believe me, let's go to the back of the truck and we'll look for damage. And if there's damage, then we'll settle it. It is what it is. We'll deal with it. And I'm like, but I'm willing to bet you that you go back there and you don't find anything wrong with your truck or my truck. And he's like, all right, I'll take you up on that. And we go back there, and he has got a flashlight out in both hands, looking up and down both sides of his trailer on the back side of it, going all up and down the trailer with a fine-tooth comb, running his hand along the edge of the trailer or the face of the doors, the bump stops on the back, the tail lights, the bezels around the tail lights, just looking for anything to suggest that I made contact with this trailer, with his trailer. Couldn't find it. I just kind of, I laughed. I laughed at him. I'm like, dude, see, I told you, man, there's nothing here. And he gets real mad at this point. He starts yelling even more. And so I stop him and I'm like, look, dude, I'm like, just hang on a second. I had to back up into the spot as far as I could. I said, I have a very long truck. I said, that truck is still sticking out as close as I am to you right now. I said, my truck is still sticking out into the lane of travel. I said, the reason it's sticking out is because your trailer is 6 feet into my spot. I said, I said, so, how about you take a little bit of responsibility for that? I said, these spots are here for a reason. They made the lines for a reason, to give each truck in these spots the maximum amount of space to use to, satisfy the length of their truck. And then he was like, oh, don't you be turning that around on me. I'll tell you what, blah, 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 blah. And he just keeps going off and off and off. And he's like, well, I'm going to go call the police. Yes, he literally threatened me to call the police after he couldn't find any damage on his trailer. And I'm like, all right, man, do what you got to do. I said, you just spent the last 5 minutes looking for damage on your trailer and you couldn't find it. And so now you're going to waste the police officer's time, the you're going to waste the time of law enforcement to come out for a petty case that they're not even going to do anything over, even if there was damage, because it's on private property. I'm like, but there's not even any damage. So you are absolutely wasting their time. Even if you just, by calling them, you're wasting the time of the dispatcher to listen to your rant. So do what you got to do, man. But I said, I just came here for coffee and I'm leaving. So I'll be gone by the time anybody gets here anyway. And he just kind of chuckled and went back to his truck. I don't know if he actually ever called the police. I actually did kind of stick around there for a few minutes because I was curious. I was like, let's see if this guy really did call the police, because this is going to be fun. This will make for very good content if he called the police. So I stuck around for a little bit, and I even went ahead and called PDP, and I told them about it, just so that way, in case they got any, like if they got a phone call from a disgruntled driver, I said, this is what happened. I said he couldn't find any damage. I said, I don't believe I actually made contact with him, but he claims up and down I did. And I said, even if I did make contact with him, it would have been in the exact same manner that we would have made contact with a doc. So I said there really was nothing to get upset about. And he was, and what was bugging me more than anything was him claiming or calling me a liar, telling me that I was irresponsible and I was lying, and that I knew he was yelling at me when I was halfway across the parking lot, and that I was being irresponsible by not fessing up to it, and that I knew damn well what I did. And it's like, no, that's just not the case. But he was very adamant about it. But the police never showed up, and I left, and I kind of gloated a little bit when I left. I went out of my way to drive right by him, and I gave him a little wave. He was sitting in his driver's seat, probably fuming. I gave him a little wave. He just kind of looked at me. That was that. I was done. But I really don't see what I did wrong. I don't believe I hit him. Something caused him to get mad. And I even asked him. I'm like, there's a very good chance that your air suspension on your trailer was settling. I said, that happens all the time with mine. Oh, my throat's going dry. I said, that happens all the time. Your air suspension will settle. Sometimes it'll kind of make a pop, and it will kind of thrust your truck forward a little bit, and it can give you the feeling that somebody has run into you. There's been countless times where I've been at a truck stop, and that happens to me, and I have to remind myself that there's not even a row behind me, so there's no way somebody hit me. It can be kind of violent sometimes. Sometimes it can feel like I had a forklift just enter my trailer. That's how violent it can be. And I asked him, I mentioned that to him. And I wasn't saying that to be a smart ass or, to try to, get under his skin. I was legitimately pointing that out, that could have been what it was. And he wholeheartedly denied it. Just was like, no, there's no way. There's no way that was my air suspension. No way. I said, okay. Believe what you want to believe, I guess. I think the fact that there wasn't a single scratch on your trailer speak volumes about it, but whatever. Anyways, that was that. You know, I mean, you guys ever been in a situation like that where somebody claims and says that you hit their truck, and you know damn well that you did not hit their truck? It's kind of annoying. You know, it's kind of frustrating. But all ended well. Nothing happened after that. So yeah, it was just one of those things. I don't know, man. He was just looking to be mad, I guess. He was just in a bad mood. Who knows why? And like I said, I mean, I'm a pretty patient guy, and I'll deal with it. I'll kind of let you do what you want to do at first, but then when you know, if you just don't give up, I go from being very patient to being a complete asshole in a split second. That's just how I am, and that's what he saw. Because I was being very patient with him until I just didn't feel like it anymore, and then I became an asshole. So I don't know. It was a little frustrating. But yeah, like I said, what would you guys have done in that situation? It was just, this was a while ago. This probably wasn't that long after I bought this truck, after I bought Levi. I don't know, but yeah, definitely one of those things, you know. I just kind of recently started watching this guy trucks, and his videos have kind of inspired me to talk about some of my stories from the road. Not trying to copy him, but you know, they're my stories. I know, you know, I just kind of, like I said, just kind of inspired me to talk about my dealings on the road. I've been out here for 14 years now. That's plenty of time to rack up a database of interesting little stories from time that I've forgotten. So I can think of quite a few just off the top of my head right now. Like the time I got pulled over down in Texas and was accused of smuggling immigrants in my trailer. That was a good night. That was a great night. I'll leave that one for another video. Leave you on the edge of your seats. Let's finish. Let's keep on heading our way to Harrisburg, I guess. Alright, we're here in Carlisle right now. We gotta go get this trailer washed out. Then I gotta throw a little bit of fuel in the reefer. Hopefully there's not a real long line to the Blue Beacon here, but we'll see. shall see. Corvettes of Carlisle must be going on right now. I've been seeing a lot of really nice Corvettes around here. If you guys don't know, Carlisle, PA, every year has they host a thing at the fairgrounds called Corvettes of Carlisle, and they have all sorts of Corvettes from every year. There's one right there, C4. I have yet to go to this place. I have yet to go to the Carlisle, or the Corvettes of Carlisle. But yeah, they got them all there. Oh, damn it. Bad shift. There's a C8 right there. There's a C6. Yeah, see, there's quite a few Corvettes already. But when I was back there on the turnpike, a couple, what looked like probably they were single headlight. They were probably, oh God. There's no way I can get fuel there. Oh man. Jeez. Anyway, there's probably, they were probably like a 1956 or 57 Corvette. They had that kind of like a bullet style taillight. Nah, not really. And a recessed bullet style taillight, not one like you'd see on a 53. And the single headlight. So I believe it was like a 56 to a 57. I think they put double headlights, or they put dual headlights on them in 58, maybe? I think that's when they started putting the dual headlights on them in 58. Can't really remember. But, yeah. Of course, the one, though, there was, like I said, a couple of them, a white one and a red one, and the white one almost sideswiped me. I clearly didn't know how to drive. And then as he passed me, they were like, as he passed me, he was like swerving all over the lane. Alright, we just need a washout, so we'll stay here in the left lane. Kind of worries me about the fuel. Good Lord, it was I was going to try to go to the Petro, but I might not. I might go to the Loves instead. See, I never know when I come through here, something like this. I don't want people to think I'm trying to cut. Should be, I don't know if I'm going to make that or not. Might be able to. Don't worry about me, dude. Just sit right there when you have a bunch of room to move up. That's all good. Situational awareness is not strong among that driver. Anyway, alright, come up here and get her washed out. Oh, that's not good. It's never good when the driver of the truck in front of you has to show the washout guy what he wants done. Oh man, he is full. Oh, dang it. You're kidding me. No. That guy in front of me had a nursery load. Oh no. That is gonna take forever. I've got to be down at the pickup by 1. It's now 11. Oh no. These can take like a couple of hours to wash out. Dang it. Oh man, you're kidding me. at all that dirt inside his trailer. Damn it. Great. Alright, we got the trailer washed out. Apparently that guy that was in front of us, he was carrying a load of potatoes. They got it washed out faster than I thought, so that's good. Alright, so now we just gotta go grab our next load. What is this guy in this white truck doing here? Come on, dude, let's go. Let's go. I really hate electronic logs. Gosh, I'm sure that's what this guy's doing here. Just taking his sweet time because he doesn't want to trip that drive time. But I got places to be. Oh man, it's a warm one out there today. I'll be glad that I have that green APU, I'll tell you what. Great place to park there, bud. Great place. Who does that? I mean, really, who parks right there? He parks right there. That's who parks right there. He, by God. Because he's a hot shot driver. Hot shot driver. Pay no mind to anybody else around him. Because he's a hot shot driver. He's the only one that exists in this world. Hot shot driver. I should probably, you know, I think I missed my calling. I should have been a songwriter. Oh, this is a cluster here. Cluster. It's like oh man. It's like I hate the truck stops here at Carlisle, but I love them at the same time because there is a lot of truck parking here. But with a lot of truck parking comes a lot of traffic. I could probably, I mean, I can technically, oh no turn on red. Okay. Well, then I guess I can't turn right. We will wait. Oh, that's a big pet. That really is a giant pet peeve of mine when people don't have any self-awareness. Just, you know, it's all about them. They park where they want to. It's just a giant pet peeve of mine. They don't care. I don't know. It's annoying to me. Right in one of the most congested parts of the you know, truck stop entrance. And he parks his truck right there. It's like, why? He could have just pulled into the truck stop. But instead he has to make it harder for everybody else. You know why? Because he's a hot shot driver. That's going to get annoying. C6. Comes some more Corvettes. We got C7, two C7s, Stingray, and it looks like a Z06 C7. Awesome, awesome. Nice looking C6 over there. Look, I think that was a Grand National too. Looked like a Grand National. Oh yeah, here we on the road again. That was a bad shift. Man, I am all sorts of bad shifting today. What the heck, man? Golly, it's warm. Alright guys, this will conclude the video. This episode, if you want to call it that. I'm gonna go home and see the family for a little bit and do another round tonight. Tonight I'm only going to Chicago, so I'm not going nearly as far. So I'll be back home tomorrow morning. I'll leave tonight and I'll be back tomorrow morning. Like I've shown you before, I can do the Chicago run in one night, so that makes it a lot easier. That way I can be home sooner. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. This green APU, I love it. I really got my first chance to, I mean, I used it on the way home too, but I was so darn tired. I just didn't really play with it at all or really appreciate it that much. I mean, I appreciated it, but you know, I didn't really, I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly. I was just dog tired. But yeah, last night though, I really got to use it in one of my normal rounds, you know, and it did great. I slept like a baby with it on. It's a quiet APU, a lot quieter than the competition from what I've seen, and it's just doing good. I mean, it makes it was probably in the mid 80s yesterday, sunny, and the sun was beating down on the truck. And when the sun, I mean, hell, it could be 60 degrees outside, right? The sun's beating down on the cab and it's like 100 inside if you don't have any AC on, you know. So it was 80 plus degrees yesterday where I stopped, you know, because since I run at night, I now sleep during the day, which just makes it that much harder without a good AC source, right? And turn that APU on and it was just cold. It was, I mean, not uncomfortably cold, but it was like it should be. I mean, it felt like I was in an apartment, you know, instead of a truck. It felt great. Kept it nice and cool for me, and I loved it. Slept great. Like I said, it's not very loud when you're inside the sleeper. I don't want to say you can barely hear it, but it's really not that bad. It's a lot quieter than a reefer unit. I had the reefer unit on because I had to pick up a load to bring back here, and the reefer was far louder than the APU. I mean, you couldn't even hear the APU when the reefer was on, and the reefer was on continuous. So I apologize to anybody I parked next to, but the reefer was on continuous, and this thing was not even noticeable when the reefer was on. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here and go home. Get another shot of it here, show the green APU again. Oh yeah, it looks good on there too. It does. I know there's you know, like on a couple of the YouTube channels that they, you know, went there and looked at or got the green APU. I know, like Just Trucking and who's the guy from Vegas? I can't remember the team driver, him and his wife with the red Peterbilt. But they, you know, Just Trucking and him, they got the, I guess, a stainless cover. And I should have asked for that. That would have looked pretty good. But the black really doesn't look bad either because the truck itself is such a dark color. So the black really looks pretty good for the most part. I mean, hell, maybe it looks better to me. Maybe it looks better than the stainless on this particular truck. You know, Just Trucking's is white, and gosh, I can't, Trucking and Trails, is that who it is? I forget, but that red Peterbilt, you know, just, you know, they're not dark colors is what I'm trying to say, but because mine's such a dark color, this kind of blends in a little bit better. But it does look good. Super simple installation. You know, no holes drilled except for on the floor of my truck to get the plumbing through. Other than that, no holes really drilled anywhere. So yeah, I'm super stoked. So anyways, guys, with that said, I'm gonna go and get on out of here. I think that's the third time I've said it. Third time's a charm, right? You all have a good one. Keep surviving to thrive, and we will talk at you in the next video. See ya. Oh, by the way, real quick, this does not have, when I say this, the Jeep does not have a blown head gasket. But it is burning coolant somewhere because, like I said, the reservoir is empty either way. But I had that engine light checked out, and the engine light was, not that you guys really care, it's a trucking channel, but I mentioned it, so I'll close that book. It does not need a head gasket, which I'm kind of bummed about because that would have made it justifiable to put the money into it to put an LS engine in here. It just would have. But since I don't need one and I can't really justify the money for it, for the LS swap, that would be pretty. I've never seen a Liberty with an LS swap. Wranglers all the time, but I've never seen a Liberty with an LS swap. So I didn't know if it's technically doable, but I would imagine it would be. I don't know, but yeah, all it was the code was a small evap leak. That's all it was. For all I know, it could be a bad gas cap, which I don't know. I checked it, seems all right, but the gasket on the gas cap could be bad. Could be any number of things. That's the problem. And of course, because I took it to AutoZone, they say it's a liability to turn off the engine light. You know, they won't do it, which really pisses me off. It's like, it's my Jeep, just turn off the engine light, but they won't. So I need to buy myself a scanner. That way I can do this all myself, and I can shut my own engine light off, and that way I can just see if it comes back on. Because after that, I took the gas cap off and put it back, because I did get gas not long before that light came on. So you know, there is a possibility that it does lay in the gas cap, or it could be the charcoal canister. It could be any number of things, but it's a small evap leak. So I just want the light gone. I mean, for God's sakes, I drive a Peterbilt with an A-cert cat. Do you think I'm worried about a little greenhouse pollution? Oh man, people are gonna hate that remark. All right, guys, y'all have a good one out there. Be safe. Take care.